Yes. Hey, welcome back. Okay. We have Romeo and Juliet. We are now in Act 2, and we're going to read scenes 3, and we're going to read scene 4 today. All right. So, some really cool stuff. As you guys know, Romeo and Juliet are now in love. They fell head over heels for each other at a party. And you know what? Like, I'm sure most of you would decide you're going to get married the very next day. Okay. Next time you go to a party and someone sweet talks you a little bit and gives you that smoochy smooch, just say, okay, yep, tomorrow we'll get married. Even if your families hate each other and want to kill each other, just go for it. What could go wrong, right? No, I'm kidding. Do not do that. We should learn from what happens. And well, you don't need me telling you what to do. Okay. Anyway, let's read. Let's enjoy it. Here we go. Act 2, Scene 3. Actually, you know what, guys? I don't want to read this to you. Okay, so I actually brought in some special guests to read it, to perform it actually for you. This scene is entirely between Friar Lawrence and Romeo. Okay, as we talked about last time, Romeo is going to the friar to ask him if he will marry Juliet and him this day, and the friar is going to give Romeo an answer. Okay, so I thought, who better to enact this than Romeo and Friar Lawrence? So they are here today, and they are going to reenact this for you. Okay, so check it out, enjoy, and here we go.
The gray-eyed morn smiles on the frowning night, checkering the eastern clouds with streaks of light. And fleckled darkness like a drunkard reels from forth day's path and Titan's fiery wheels. Now, ere the sun advanced into his burning eye, the day to cheer and night's dank dew to dry, I must upfill this osier cage of ours with baleful weeds and precious juiced flowers. The earth, that nature's mother, is her tomb. What is her burying? Grave that is her womb. And from her womb, children of divers kind, we sucking on her natural bosom find. Many for many virtues excellent, none but for some, and yet all different. Oh, mickle is the powerful grace that lies in herbs, plants, stones, and their true qualities, for not so vile that on earth doth live, but to the earth some special good doth give. Nor aught so good, but strange from fair use, revolts from true birth, stumbling on abuse. Virtue itself turns vice, being misapplied, and vice sometime by action dignified. Within the infant rind of this small flower, poison hath residence and medicine power. For this, being smelt, with that part cheers each part, being tasted, stays all the senses with the heart. To such a deposed kings encamp them still, in man as well as herbs, grace, and rude will. And where the worst is predominant, full soon the canker death eats up that plant.
Good morrow, father.
Benedict, what early tongue so sweet saluteth me? Young son, it argues a distempered head, so soon to bid good morrow to thy bed. Care keeps his watch in every old man's eye, and where care lodges, sleep will never lie. But where unbruised youth with unstuffed brain doth couch his limbs, there golden sleep doth reign. Therefore thy earliness doth me assure thou art uproused by some distemperature. Or if not so, then I here hit it right. Our Romeo hath not been in bed tonight.
That last is true. The sweeter rest was mine.
God pardon sin. Wast thou with Rosaline?
With Rosaline? No, my ghostly father, no. I forgot that name, and that name's woe.
That's good, my son. But where hast thou been then?
I'll tell thee ere thou ask it me again. I have been feasting with mine enemy, where on sudden one hath wounded me. That's by me wounded. Both are remedies. Within thy help and holy psychic lies. I bear no hatred, blessed man, for though my intercession likewise steads my foe.
Be plain, good son, and homely in thy drift. Riddling confession finds but riddling shrift.
Then plainly know my heart's dear love is set on the fair daughter of rich Capulet. As mine on hers, so hers is set on mine, and all combined, save what thou must combine, by holy marriage, when and where and how we met. We wooed and made exchange of vow, I'll tell thee as we pass. But this I pray, that thou consent to marry us today.
Holy Saint Francis, what a change is here! Is Rosaline, whom thou didst love so dear, so soon forsaken? Young men's love then lies not surely in their hearts, but in their eyes. Jesu Maria! Oh, what a great deal of brine hath washed thy sallow cheeks for Rosaline! How much salt water thrown away in waste, to season love that of it doth not taste. The season not yet thy sighs from heaven clears, thy old groans ring yet in my ancient ears. Lo, here upon thy cheek the stain doth sit, of an old tear that is not washed off yet. If e'er there wast thyself, and these woes thine, thou in these woes were all for Rosaline. And art thou changed? Pronounce this sentence then, women may fall when there's no strength in men.
Thou chidest me oft for loving Rosaline.
For doting, not for loving, pupil mine.
And badest me bury love.
Not in a grave, to lay one in, another out to have.
I pray thee, chide not. Her I love now, doth grace for grace and love for love allow. The other did not so.
Oh, she knew well, thy love did read by rote, that could not spell. But come, young waverer, be. Come, go with me. In one respect, I'll thy assistant be. For this alliance may so happy prove, to turn your household's rancor to pure love.
Oh, let us hence, I stand on sudden haste.
Wisely and slow, they stumble that run fast. Jesu Maria.
All right. Thanks, Romeo. Thanks, Friar. That was great. What an inspiring performance by both of you. You really brought your A game today. All right. Now let's talk about this scene a little bit. Okay, so let's dive in here. All right, let me see. Let's go back to page 1 here. All right. So at the beginning of the scene, we would see the friar out in his field, I guess, near his church, near his home, and he is collecting plants and herbs into a basket, okay? It might seem silly now, but it'll come up later, okay? So he's collecting all these plants and these herbs, and he's just talking about the earth and nature and how the earth supplies us with things that are good and things that are bad, okay? So, for example, he's talking about these flowers and weeds that he's picking up, and he's commenting about how, oh, this small flower that I have, inside of it, there's poison. I could take this flower and make something poisonous out of it, okay? Now, I guess this is one of his skills, one of his hobbies. It doesn't seem that strange, I guess. They did not have Walgreens back then. They did not have a hospital you could run to and get all these medicines. So people like the friar would be gathering plants and herbs and making medicines with them. And he has a small flower, and I could poison someone with this. Or I could use this flower and make a medicine with it and help save someone's life. I could do either, depending on how it's used. Virtue could be vice. Good could be bad if it's misused, if it's misapplied. On the other hand, sometimes a little bit of something wrong can actually end up being something great. It all depends on how it's used. It all depends on the circumstances. Okay, so this is what he's musing about to himself. And then in walks Romeo. Okay, Here comes Romeo. He's not gone to bed. He is still wearing his party clothes. He has not slept, and the friar can tell. He says, "Oh my gosh, what's up? You're up all night? What's going on?" Immediately, he kind of jumps to some conclusions. "Oh my gosh, were you with Rosaline last night?" This is not what the friar wants to hear. This is not godly. This is not a good choice. And instead, Romeo's like, "No, I forgot all about her. What are you talking about? Rosaline?" "Well, just yesterday, Romeo, you were crying. I can't even count how many times I've had to comfort you and try to make you feel better." Romeo basically says, "Nope, I'm over that. Now, the daughter of rich Capulet and I are in love, and we want a holy marriage. We want you to get us married today." Oh my gosh. Great line here. Friar can't believe this. Holy St. Francis, what a change. And indeed, the audience sees that Romeo is moving so quickly with this. Just yesterday, you were heartbroken about a different girl, and now you immediately want to get married. Why not slow down? Why not pump the brakes? I don't know. But Romeo won't. He just wants to keep moving. And I kind of like this line from the friar. He says that not in their hearts, but in their eyes is where young men's love lies. So he's kind of saying, do you really love her? Do you really even know her? It sounds like your feelings are coming all from your eyes and how beautiful she is, as opposed to her heart and how nice she is, how kind, all of her personality traits that you don't even know yet. So he's kind of doubting that this love is real. Romeo is insisting, though, and Friar agrees to marry them ultimately. Okay? There's one reason why he agrees to do this, and it's important that we all pick up on this. He says that for one reason, in one respect, I'll thy assistant be. And that's because this alliance, this union, this marriage might help to turn the household's rancor to pure love. Might help turn your family's hatred into friendship. Okay? So Friar is a little skeptical of their love, but he's going to agree to marry them anyway. Again, this is a secret, and it's moving very quickly. The friar doesn't decide, maybe I should go talk to the Capulets and the Montagues. Maybe I could help work this out. No. I'll just marry them in secret and then hope for the best. Yeah, maybe that'll fix everything. Okay. All right. It's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off. All right. Okay. Thanks for tuning in for scene 3. Now let's jump in to scene 4. All right. This should be a fun one, you guys. I know I'm excited about it. This is a scene where we see Romeo in a better mood now that he knows he's going to get married. And we also see that Juliet has sent the nurse to ask Romeo when and where they're going to get married. Okay. And let's watch and find out. So we're going to have Benvolio back. Remember, that's Romeo's cousin. We're going to have Mercutio back. Remember, that's a relative of the prince, one of Romeo's best friends. We're going to see the nurse. We're going to see Romeo. They're out in the street in Verona. Okay, here we go. Okay, scene 4. Enter Benvolio and Mercutio. Where the devil should this Romeo be? Came he not home tonight? Not to his father's. I spoke with his man. Why, that same pale hard-hearted wench, that Rosaline, torments him so that he will sure run mad. Tybalt, the kinsman to old Capulet, hath sent a letter to his father's house. A challenge? On my life. Romeo will answer it. Any man that can write may answer letter. Nay, he will answer the letter's master, how he dares, being dared. Alas, poor Romeo, he is already dead, stabbed with a white wench's black eye, shot through the ear with a love song, the very pin of his heart cleft with the blind bow boy's butt shaft. And is he a man to encounter Tybalt? Why, what is Tybalt? More than Prince of Cats. Oh, he's the courageous captain of compliments. He fights as you sing prick song, keeps time, distance, and proportion. He rests as minim rests, 1, 2, and the third in your bosom. The very butcher of a silk button. A duelist, a duelist. A gentleman of the very first house of the first and second cause. Ah, the immortal passado, the punto reverso, the hey. All right, pause, time out. Let's break this down. What's going on here? Okay, Benvolio and Mercutio, we see that they still don't know where Romeo went. He went to Juliet's balcony, creeped on her. He went to the friars to ask if he'll marry them. They think he went off pouting about Rosaline. Oh, he didn't go home yet. Oh, man. Then Benvolio drops an interesting nugget of plot development. Some conflicts coming up. Benvolio says, oh, guess what? Tybalt, Juliet's cousin, the one who saw Romeo at the party and wants to fight him and hates him, sent a letter to his father's house. A challenge? Remember, in these times, duels were common, okay? So, Tybalt is challenging Romeo to a duel, a challenge for his life. Benvolio is a little concerned. Mercutio seems quite concerned. Oh, man. Well, Romeo is already dead because he's been shot with an arrow by Cupid, the Boboy's butt shaft, okay? He's been hit by Cupid. He's definitely in no position to fight Tybalt. Tybalt is an awesome fighter, okay? He fights as well as someone sings, a beautiful singer. He keeps time, distance. He knows all kinds of good dueling moves, such as the passado, the punto reverso, the hey, thrusts with the sword, okay? He's a really good fighter. Mercutio thinks Tybalt might dominate Romeo in a fight, especially in his love-sick state. Okay, let's keep going. The what? The pox of such antic, lisping, affecting phantasmines, these new tuners of accents. By Jesu, a very good blade, a very tall man, a very good whore. Why, is not this a lamentable thing, grandsire, that we should be thus afflicted with these strange flies, these fashion mongers, these pardon me's, who stand so much on the new form that they cannot sit at ease on the old bench? Oh, their bones, their bones. Now in comes Romeo. Here comes Romeo. Here comes Romeo. Without his roe like a dried herring. Oh, flesh, flesh, how art thou fishified? Now is he the numbers that Petrarch flowed in? Laura to his lady was but a kitchen wench, Mary. She had a better love to berhyme her. Dido a dowdy, Cleopatra a gypsy, Helen and Hero hidlings and harlots, Thisbe a great grey eye or so, but not to the purpose. Signor Romeo, bonjour. There's a French salutation to your French slop. You gave us the counterfeit last night. Good morrow to you both. What counterfeit did I give you? The slip, the slip. Can you not conceive? Pardon, good Mercutio. My business was great, and in such a case as mine, a man may strain courtesy. That's as much to say such a case as yours constrains a man to bow in the hams, meaning to curtsy. Thou hast most kindly hit it. A most courteous exposition. Nay, I am the very pink of courtesy. Pink for flower? Right. Why, then my pump is well flowered. Sure wit, follow me just now till thou hast worn out thy pump, and when the single soul of it is worn, the jest may remain after the wearing solely singular. O single soul jest, solely singular for the singleness. Come between us, good Benvolio, my wits faints. Switch and spurs, oh, I'll cry a match. Nay, if our wits run the wild goose chase, I am done, for thou hast more of the wild goose in one of thy wits than I am sure I have in my whole 5. Was I with you there for the goose? Thou wast never with me for anything. When wast there not there for the goose? I will bite thee by the ear for that jest. Nay, good goose, bite not. Thy wit is a very bitter sweeting. It is a most sharp sauce, and it is not well served into a sweet goose. Oh, here's the width of that cheverel that stretches from an inch narrow to an ell broad. Okay, let's pause there. We don't really need to understand all of these things that they're saying right now. I guess what's important to realize is that Mercutio, who we've already established as a witty, comical character, starts out by trying to make fun of Romeo a little bit, and basically he's a little upset, like, dude, you bailed on us last night. What the heck? What's up with that? And Romeo says, well, I had important things to do. None of your business. And he starts kind of making fun of Mercutio back and forth. They're both being quite witty, okay? If you wanted to, you could read along with what's going on here. All we need to really know is that they're kind of goofing around. And Romeo is now in a much better mood. Before he was being really mopey around his friends. Now he's trying to act, or now he is acting more like himself. All right, let's keep going. I stretch it out for that word broad, which added to the goose proves thee far and wide a broad goose. Why is not this better now than groaning for love? Now art thou sociable? Now art thou Romeo? Now art thou what thou art? By art as well as by nature. For this driveling love is like a great natural that runs lolling up and down to hide his bauble in a hole. Stop there, stop there. Thou desirest me to stop my tail against the hair? Thou wouldst else have made thy tail large. Oh, thou art deceived. I would have made it short, for I was come to the whole depth of my tail, and meant, indeed, to occupy the argument no longer. Okay, now here come the nurse and Peter. Remember, the nurse is there to talk to Romeo about when and where Juliet and he can get married. This is still a secret to everyone except for Romeo and Juliet, the nurse, and the friar. Here's goodly gear. A sail, a sail. Two, a shirt and a smock. Peter. Anon. My fan, Peter. My fan, Peter. Sorry, I forgot. The nurse has a fun voice. Good Peter to hide her face, for her fans the fairer face. Good ye good morrow, gentlemen. Good ye good end, fair gentlewoman. Is it good end? 'Tis no less, I tell you, for the body hand of the dial is now upon the prick of noon. Out upon you, what a man are you? One gentlewoman that God hath made himself to mar. But my troth, it is well said, for himself to mar, quoth he. Gentlemen, can any of you tell me where I may find the young Romeo? I can tell you, but young Romeo will be older when you have found him than he was when you sought him. I am the youngest of that name, for a fault of a worse. You say well. Yeah, is the worst well? Very well, till took I faith wisely. If you be he, sir, I desire some confidence with you. She will indict him to supper. Abod, so ho! What hast thou found? No hare, sir, unless a hare, sir, in Lenten pie, that is, something stale and hoar ere it be spent. An old hare whore is very good meat in Lent, but a hare that is hoar is too much for a score when it whores ere it be spent. Romeo, will you come to your father's? We'll to dinner thither? I will follow you. All right, so the nurse is looking for Romeo. The other guys don't know who she is. They're kind of making fun of her, making some sort of not nice jokes about her. Like, oh, what's this older woman looking for Romeo for? I don't know. Kind of weird. Romeo basically says, okay, guys, get out of here. I'll see what this woman wants. Definitely not a secret wedding thing going on here. Farewell, ancient lady. Farewell, lady. Then Mercutio and Benvolio leave. Okay. I pray you, sir, what saucy merchant was this that was so full of his ropery? A gentleman, nurse, that loves to hear himself talk, and I will speak more in a minute than he will stand to in a month. And he speak anything against me, I'll take him down, as he were lustier than he is, and 20 such jacks. And if I cannot, I'll find those that shall. Scurvy knave! I am none of his flirt gills. I am none of his skeins mates. And thou must stand by too, and suffer every knave to use me at his pleasure? I saw no man use you at his pleasure. If I had, my weapon should quickly have been out. I warrant you, I dare draw as soon as another man, if I see occasion in good quarrel, and the law is on my side.
Now, afore God, I am so vexed and every part of me quivers, scurvy knave. Pray you, sir, a word, and as I told you, my young lady bid me inquire you out. What bade me say? I will keep to myself, but first let me tell ye, if you should lead her into a fool's paradise, as they say, it is a very gross behavior, as they say, for the gentlewoman is young, and therefore, if you should deal double with her, truly it were an ill thing to be offered to any gentlewoman, and very weak dealing.
Okay, so the nurse there is basically just saying to Romeo, oh man, you better not be playing with Juliet. You better not be dealing double. You better be legit to her. I hope you're not just trying to use her. And Romeo's going to comfort her and say, yeah, no, I'm for real. Nurse, commend me to thy lady and mistress. I protest unto thee.
Good heart and faith, I will tell her as much. Lord, Lord, she will be a joyful woman.
What wilt thou tell her, nurse? Thou dost not mark me.
I will tell her, sir, that you do protest, which, as I take it, is a gentlemanlike offer.
Bid her devise some means to come to Shrift this afternoon, for there she shall at Friar Lawrence's cell be shrived and married. Here's for thy pains.
No, truly, sir, not a penny.
Go to, I say you shall.
This afternoon, sir? Well, she will be there. She shall be there.
And stay, good nurse, behind the abbey wall. Within this hour my man shall be with thee, and bring thee cords, made like a tackled stair, which to the high top gallant of my joy must be my convoy in the secret night. Farewell, be trusty, and I'll quit thy pains. Farewell, commend thee to thy mistress.
Now God in heaven bless thee. Hey, hark you, sir.
What sayest thou, my dear nurse?
Is your man secret? Did he never hear say, two may keep counsel, putting one away?
Warrant thee, my man's as true as steel.
Well, sir, my mistress is the sweetest lady. Lord, Lord, when 'twas a little prating thing, there was a nobleman in town, one Paris, that would fain lay knife aboard, but she, good soul, had as lief see a toad, as very toad has seen him. I anchor sometimes and tell her that Paris is the proper man, but I'll warrant you, when I say so, she looks as pale as any clout in the versal world. Doth not Rosemary and Romeo begin with a letter?
Aye, nurse. What of that? Both with an R.
A mocker, that dog's name. That's the dog's name. R is for the... No, I know it begins with some other letter, and she hath the prettiest sentence of it. Of you and Rosemary, that it would do you good to hear it.
Commend thee to thy lady.
Aye, 1,000 times, Peter.
Anon.
Before and apace.
They all leave. Okay, to sum that up, the nurse said, okay, what's the plan? And Romeo said, okay, tell Juliet to have some excuse to go to the church this afternoon. I will be there secretly, and the friar will be ready to marry us. Awesome. Then Romeo said, okay, you're going to wait over there. I'll have my man bring you some cords, which is like a rope ladder, so that Juliet can use the ladder to have me climb up to her window tonight for our honeymoon, okay? For our making the marriage official, okay? And the nurse says, all right, even though I keep telling her that Paris is a better match for her, she doesn't even want to meet Paris. She's not into that. She only loves you. Let's do it. And that's the end of the scene, okay? So scene 4 ends. I'm pretty optimistic right now. Romeo and Juliet are about to get married this afternoon, and everything should be great. Although there are some reasons for pause. We do know that it's still a secret. Their families still hate each other, and they don't know anything about this secret wedding that's about to happen. Also, we know that Tybalt has challenged Romeo to a duel and wants to fight and kill him. So that's not good. And I don't know. I guess we just have to see what happens next, all right? So thank you for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. If it wasn't, then well, it was free, so no refunds. Okay. All right. Anyway, take care. Have a great day. I will see you all later. And remember, stay classy. All right. Cool. Bye.